It's Onorato and Miller. It's Chris. It's Ash. Is it 1994? Knicks, Rangers, OJ, all grabbing headlines this spring. Crazy. We'll get into what both those New York teams have done so far in the postseason and whether or not we think they can keep it going. NBA head coaching news. Another head coach loses out to star players. Not a shock, but shame on the owners for being complete idiots and thinking they can just keep running through coaches and these star players will all of a sudden become absolute champions. Not happening. We have a conversation with Clem D'Orazio. He is the assistant general manager, and I call him the defensive coordinator. I know they don't use coordinator really. He's the defensive coach, but of the Albany FireWolves on their way to the National Lacrosse League Finals. Game 1 next Friday at home, May 17th at MVP Arena against the Buffalo Bandits. We'll talk with Coach D'Orazio. We've got our two-part series with Jimmer Fredette, exclusive sit down with Jimmer Fredette now that he is an Olympian headed to Paris with 3x3.
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 And that's what it is.
Let's go.
This is Onorato and Miller, sponsored by Alpin House.
The great family at Alpin House, Sandy Heck, Katie Osborne, Marcellus, Bebs, Novice, Performance Industrial, and Saratoga Casino. Our thanks to all of our supporters here. Sam is first to check in. All right, I'm serious. OJ.
Yeah, a few weeks ago.
Knicks, Rangers. The Garden, the life at the Garden.
It is alive.
Is so different than anywhere else. It's the organ. It's the crowd. LA has its celebrities, but it doesn't feel the same. When the Lakers are great, it just doesn't feel the same.
No, Nick, and I will say this.
Or Boston, it's not the same.
I will say this, and it's not, though. They don't crawl out of the woodwork. Spike Lee has been around.
Ben Stiller's always
forever
there. Tracy Morgan.
And ever. It doesn't matter how good the team is. But I will say this. It feels like Knicks fans are those fans that just, like, they never give up on their team, no matter how bad they are. And not that the Garden feels alive when they're bad, but man, are they back, and they're back in a big way. The Garden is a really tough place to play when it's popping like that.
And the signature of a difficult team to beat, this is going to sound so obvious, is they win games they shouldn't win. Pacers should have won games 1 and 2. And if you're Indiana, you're like, okay, let one slip away, but we can get the fact that, I'm not saying this is going to be a sweep. It won't be. Indiana will get a game, but this could be a 5-game, at most 6-game series the way this is going. Now, you have to wonder about OG Anunoby and his hamstring. He's already been ruled out for game 3. Jalen Brunson had a big second half, so you believe that he's healthy and that right foot is just fine.
I was going to say, he had Knicks fans holding their breath a little bit when he limped off into the locker room, but this team is fun. It's fun. And listen, I was the first to say that Jalen Brunson couldn't be your number one and win you a title. I will make an excuse on that specific team. This team looks very different than Jalen Brunson's team did when they first got Jalen Brunson. When I probably said that. That said, I still don't believe they can win a title with Jalen Brunson as their one, but they're really good and they're really fun. They're really fun. And they're that, like, classic,
why
no superstar power, but it all kind of makes sense.
Why can't they with Brunson? He had 4 straight games of 40 or more points.
Yeah, I get it. I don't know if I will believe it until it happens that you're going to win. You're going to beat some of these big teams with star power when you don't have quite the star power, but they've done it so far.
Yeah.
It's not like Indiana has tremendous star power. No. I know, like, Brunson is probably similar to Tyrese Halliburton in how people view their stardom. And the T-Wolves maybe are kind of the same. I mean, Anthony Edwards is maybe even
Superstar.
started to go next level.
Superstar.
And he's got a lot of talent around him also. But these teams all feel very kind of like they don't have Luka Doncic, who has been very quiet this postseason. They don't have Nikola Jokic. So I don't know. I think it's interesting.
Yeah. Brunson has outperformed everyone on Earth's expectations. Give him his props now, right? Yeah. Look, I mean, he's already gotten his money.
No doubt.
So that helps. And yeah, he has been terrific. He's been better than I thought he would be. Better than I thought he was capable of being. I just didn't think this guy could pop for 46 here and there. He is carrying this team. The mid-range game that he has is so good. He doesn't look like he's fast. He gets to the rim whenever he wants to. He's a wide-bodied guy. He can knock down threes. I'm not a believer. I said this a few years ago, though. Remember when the Hawks made their run and Trae Young was terrific, and I thought, yeah, you know what? Actually, I think the Hawks can win it. Maybe Trae Young can be the guy. Obviously, that's not playing out the way we thought it would. But Brunson feels like he could be the guy. I mean, if he had an equal, like, is Julius Randle an equal on this Knicks team if he's healthy to help them get over a hump? Okay. So you've got Anthony Edwards and you've got Karl Anthony Towns. Are they equals? Edwards a little above him?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say combined, they're Karl Anthony Towns is.
So I think Brunson could be the one if you had a 1A to win a title with him.
Maybe. Yeah.
Because who's the 1A right now? Dante DiVincenzo can't be the second scoring option on a title team, I don't think.
But is there something to be said? And I know this probably has gotten overplayed, but I don't know that it's been talked about enough. Like, you have Villanova 2.0 on an NBA team, and all they have done is get better and better as they've added to that team.
Yeah.
These are guys who love one another. They played in college, they won in college, and now they're winning at the next level. There's something to be said for the chemistry and the familiarity with one another. So maybe that is kind of what has taken over, the superstar power that this team lacks. Maybe they don't need it. But a guy like Isaiah Hartenstein has been so good for them. But DiVincenzo last night was out of this world. He hit big shot after big shot. Brunson's been fantastic. Hart doesn't get enough credit, I don't think.
The guy gets rebounds he has no business getting.
Yeah, he's not big enough to get rebounds, and he rebounds with the biggest of them.
Indiana's defense on DiVincenzo has been inexcusably bad. How you ever leave him, I don't understand. Late in game one, they went and doubled Brunson to get the ball out of him. They left DiVincenzo.
Guy's just going to hit threes all day on you.
That's terrible. Let's talk about this here too, and I'll make one more point about the Knicks before we leave this and move on to the Rangers here. Rick Carlisle. Now, the Pacers as a team have filed complaints on 78 calls
in 2 games.
Rick Carlisle's in his post-game press conference on Wednesday night pulling up tweets of examples of what he felt were missed calls or bad calls.
That's not the way to do it, but
and there's something to be said for a coach who has his players' backs. Okay. But there's also something to be said for a coach that reeks of desperation and excuses. That I don't think resonates with players. When you see your coach up there, like, desperate to blame somebody other than his team for not closing out games. Again, I don't think they get swept, but it just doesn't feel like, as close as this series has been, that Indiana can now win it.
78.
Right.
78 calls or non-calls that they felt went against them.
Yeah.
I bet you every team on the planet would say that would be the case if they went back, because you look at the same call, one says it's one way, one says it's the other. Do they file complaints over it? No. So this is kind of the difference.
Sam's not putting a lot of faith in the Knicks here that they can get by Boston in the next round. That
I don't disagree.
I don't know. I don't know either.
Yep.
That would be one heck of a series. It's the series I'm hoping we get in the East.
But doesn't it feel so good and nostalgic? Like you say, 94, like those games, Knicks Pacers way back in the day, just felt fun and and like a little bit of hatred, and you've seen some of it come back. You've seen the hatred between the fan bases and the fans and the players, and it just feels good because it feels like it should.
So one thought on the Knicks here, whether or not they can win a title this year or just going forward with Brunson as the guy. If you look back at the history, and I've made this point 1,000 times, but if you look with the exception of the Pistons in recent history, but even, go back through the 80s even, the recent exception would be the Detroit Pistons. Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, both Wallaces, Rasheed and Ben, Tayshaun Prince. The teams that win titles have multiple Hall of Famers.
Right.
Go back and look at all of them. Now, maybe the Bucks will end up being an exception too, because Giannis is the only Hall of Famer there. Chris Middleton's not going to be a Hall of Famer. So, but largely, you've got multiple Hall of Famers on teams that win NBA championships. I don't know that there's a single one on this Knicks team. Brunson's too young to project out.
Right. As of right now, no. Maybe someday. But there's not a Hall of Famer on the Pacers. There's not a Hall of Famer. Well, there probably is on the T-Wolves. It's a lot easier to get into the Hall of Fame. Although the NBA is all right. It's not terrible.
Yeah, it's the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame, so a lot of people get in.
I mean, listen, Doncic will be a Hall of Famer. Obviously.
Kyrie will be a Hall of Famer.
Obviously, Nikola Jokic is a Hall of Famer if he ended his career today. So 3 MVPs will do that for you.
Yeah. Let's do that now. Well, you mentioned it here. Where did I stick that note? Nikola Jokic, 9th player in NBA history to win 3 MVP awards. Kareem has the most all-time, 6.
9 players.
Jordan has 5. Few guys with 4, including LeBron. And then you've got a bunch of other guys with 3, Magic included in that group as well. So 9 guys to win at least 3 NBA MVPs, and Jokic gets it done here.
I saw some amazing stats.
That series looks over. Woo! Does that series look over?
Yeah, it's ugly. Side by side, LeBron's MVP season with the Heat. His numbers this season were almost identical to his MVP season with the Heat. And he's how many years older?
I know.
It's unbelievable.
I don't know if he's better.
No, I'm not saying
but
he is.
He has become a top tier 3-point shooter late in his career. Remember early on, like he
couldn't hit it.
Yeah, couldn't hit the 3. I didn't even love him attempting an 18-foot jumper. Now the guy is 40% from 3.
He's going to end up being one of the most for his age. No one is going to, I don't know that anyone's going to age better than LeBron has, because he's still a top 10 player and he's in his 20th year in the league. That's like, that alone is mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing.
All right, take a quick time out here on Onorato and Miller. Conversation with the FireWolves assistant coach Clem D'Orazio and the assistant GM. He's responsible in some way, certainly, for helping to build this winner. We'll continue to talk Indiana hoops, but over to the WNBA side of things with Caitlin Clark making her professional debut. Should she try to play in the Olympics, even though it takes away from the WNBA season? And an interesting bet in the NFL that I really hope the league allows to play out. Let's have
some fun.
They call you the No Fun League. Let's have a little bit of fun. And we'll sit down with Jimmer Fredette. We'll play you the 2 parts of our conversation with the now Olympian from Glens Falls. Back in a minute.
Make this camping season the best one yet. It's our annual open house event here at Alpen House RV. We're offering massive savings on all remaining 2023 inventory. And bring your trade, because we're ready to offer top dollar. Browse at your convenience. We'll have every RV open for viewing, as well as free food and drinks every Saturday in April. It's your last chance to take advantage of preseason incentives and special interest rates. And if you purchase during our open house event, you'll receive a campfire fun kit. Visit us at alpenhouse.com or come see us in Amsterdam and Saratoga.
At Marcella's Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on for cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair. You can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Albany House.
All right, Caitlin Clark makes her WNBA debut in the preseason. We'll get to that here in a second, but Troy's got a question.
Not yet.
What does that mean?
Not yet.
Maybe if there's a game 3?
Maybe.
Not making the trip to Buffalo. Won't be here for game 1 between
We're
the
not in
FireWolves
town
and
for
Bandits.
game 1, unfortunately.
But if
so
there
we
is a
will
game
not.
3, you may see Ash. And Leon says yes.
Let's do it.
Look, I'm not even asking fans to fill
Right.
MVP Arena. I am asking fans to
Occupy some of the seats. Like what would be good for you? What's a good number? 5?
what's half capacity?
6?
5?
5 or 6?
Let's do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's do that.
Well, I've told you this, and Buffalo's fans will help the cause, but in the opposite of the way you would like them to, because Buffalo travels with the best of them.
Yeah.
It's only 4 hours away, 4.5 hours away. Their fans will travel, and they're really loud. So Albany fans need to get in the seats so that Buffalo fans don't make it hard for the Albany FireWolves to play in their own arena.
Yeah. Championship team
And
here.
that's the thing.
Hey, Carol, good to have you with us.
Championship team after a 3-win season. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. Heck of a turnaround.
Yeah.
Clem D'Orazio still to come on the show here. Caitlin Clark, WNBA debut. Pretty good.
Not bad.
6 of 15, 5 of 13 from 3, 5 turnovers. Those are some of the numbers you don't see here. But 21 points in 28 minutes. Looks like she belongs.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
Yep.
She's going to put up numbers this year, and the ratings for her games will be phenomenal. I have to believe that people are going to watch.
I think so. And I think the ratings for the in-person viewing will be even better. I mean, my guess is she's going to sell out almost every arena she goes to this season.
So. Yeah, I would buy tickets
because there are so few games
in
in the WNBA season. The places that she goes, there will be people in the seats.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, she turned it over in college. Sometimes her shooting percentage lacked in college. You're going to see all of that, especially against the greatest players in the world. But you're going to see some of the flash that you saw. And 21 points, no matter which way you cut it, is not easy to do.
Yeah, and there was a preseason game where Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso really boosted ratings in one of those games. And Cardoso's out for how long now?
Yeah, 4 to 6 weeks is the initial with a shoulder injury. And my guess is it might be a little longer than that.
Yeah. Right. No reason to really rush her back. Yeah. Okay. So look, this time next week, and it'll be a Wednesday show next week, everybody. Wednesday night show next week, May 15th. We will have a Caitlin Clark regular season game under our belts. We should get our buddy Brendan Glasheen on the show. He will be on the sideline for that Clark.
Let's do it.
WNBA regular season.
I'll send our guy a text.
All right. We need this to happen because we need fun things to continue to happen in sports. But Sam has an important question here. Do you?
Probably not.
Oh, that was quick.
But I'm not sure. I haven't been told. We don't discuss those things. You know, I'm sure Clarky is not going to want to discuss, hey, what happens if you win a championship?
Hey, the sideline reporter.
No, let's not talk about that.
Do I get a ring?
And no, I don't feel a need for one. I really don't feel a need for one. I have played zero role in anything that has happened on the field. I very much enjoy the coaching staff and the players on all teams. But yeah, I don't need a ring.
I like this question here. So the news that Ed and Lisa Mitzen, who are Business for Good, formerly Finger Paint, want to bring an MLS Next franchise to Albany. Saw some of the mock-ups, the artist renderings of the stadium and what would be a little bit of an entertainment district around it. I mean, it looks like it's going to be built right next to 787. Yeah, what do I think about it? Great. I think great until
fans don't go.
It follows the same pattern as every other pro franchise, excluding the Valley Cats when they had minor league affiliation, and the way people don't go to games.
Right.
What do you want me to say?
You have to buy tickets and fill seats for things like this to be successful.
Is soccer going to be more successful at that level of soccer? Is that going to be more successful than AHL hockey or NLL lacrosse or AFL football?
That's a good question.
I don't know. I mean,
yeah,
it would be awesome to see that happen.
Yeah, maybe
it'd be a lot of fun.
The more you can draw kids, I think the better the opportunities, because you're going to get kids asking to go see these games. And I think the access is better. You know, you can stand on the sidelines, you can get autographs.
But what sport are kids playing more now than lacrosse?
Yes, but they're not playing box lacrosse.
That's the difference?
I don't know that that's the difference.
I'm asking.
They're not playing. Listen, in my mind, and this is, a lot of people will tell you this, they're two different sports. Field lacrosse and box lacrosse are two different sports that you are playing. So for kids, I think kids who play field lacrosse here can appreciate the box game for sure.
Okay.
But they don't play it.
Okay.
Not often here. They don't play it. And they should, because then you can play lacrosse all year round. The Canadians have it right. This is a sport like indoor soccer and outdoor soccer that you can play all year round if you learn to play box lacrosse.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need the facilities.
Yeah, you're right. Here's a fun one while we're on the subject of fun things. Pitcher Paul Skeens has been called up by the Pirates. He was the #1 overall pick last summer in the Major League Baseball draft. He is famously dating LSU gymnast, although she's a senior. That'll be over. Livy Dunn. By the way,
the relationship will be over?
No, her college career.
Oh.
But I was reading, she in early May signed a new NIL deal that has put her second behind Shador Sanders. She's making $4 million in NIL money.
Have you seen the commercials?
And she's not even the best gymnast on her team. It's wild. I mean, good for her. Anyway, the question is, can we name others? Like Justin Verlander, Kate Upton. Tom Brady's no longer with Giselle. He's not even still an athlete.
Right.
But the big stars in baseball, I'm just running through baseball because Skeens is in baseball.
Don't have.
Shohei Ohtani, don't know anything about his.
Wife.
Ronald Acuna, don't know anything about his. Aaron Judge, don't know anything about his. Right? So.
Their wives.
Yeah. So the days of Jeter and Hannah.
Bye-bye.
Who else is there a star? Dansby Swanson is married to a professional soccer player and on Team USA.
Yeah, I mean, Darren Waller and Kelsey Plum was as close as it got.
JJ Watt
but they're divorced or getting divorced. JJ Watt and his wife, is it Kaylani?
Yep, Megan Rapinoe and Sue Bird.
Yep, maybe that's it. Maybe that's the power couple.
I mean, one of them has to remain active, though.
I know.
And they're both done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I just was thinking, like, I don't know how many power couples there are in sports.
There aren't a lot of them.
Yeah.
But I'd probably have to think a little harder. I'd probably have to think a little bit harder.
Patrick Mahomes, like the great quarterbacks in the NFL currently.
Right. I mean, the only reason people know Brittany Mahomes is because of Quarterback, the Netflix series. Yep. So it's not that she's famous or doing anything, extraordinary.
Jonathan Owens, Simone Biles, but still not.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of times it feels like it's carried by one. The most famous, and you're not going to get, they're not both athletes. It's Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, but they're not both athletes. That's the power couple. Like there's no other power couple on the planet bigger than those two right now. But we kind of have.
But I'll accept that.
Okay. Well, then that's one and done. Top of the list. Yeah. No conversation left to be had.
Yeah. And Carol was all over it.
Yeah.
Carol was right on it.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll accept that. That's.
Well, that's the easy one.
Yeah. I just was thinking too, but I was.
You were going.
But I was using Verlander and Upton, and I was using Brady and Giselle.
So then yes.
Right. That's a slam dunk.
Yeah.
It's late in the week for me. This is this is kind of what happens
Tell me about it.
sometimes. All right, we want to play you a little bit of our conversation with Jimmer Fredette when we had a chance to sit down with him in Springfield, Mass, as Team USA 3x3 was going through some of its training camp before traveling internationally to compete, and then obviously getting ready for Paris. It's a two-parter. Here's part one with Jimmer. For the first time ever, USA men's basketball has a 3x3 team headed to the Olympics. And Jimmer Fredette is back in the opening credits, playing the lead actor in this story of resurgence. What did it take for you to buy in to this, being as different as it is?
Olympics. That's as soon as I heard that, I was like, I'm in, right? Like, if I have a chance to play at the Olympics for Team USA in a basketball setting, that's a dream come true.
This isn't the way Jimmer would have envisioned wearing the red, white, and blue at the Olympics when he was growing up in Glens Falls, or even a little more than a decade ago in the NBA. Then again, 3x3 only became an Olympic sport 4 years ago, but the how doesn't consume Jimmer. He's focused on the answer to a couple of ifs, as in if he's ever played in an Olympics and if he's ever won gold at the Summer Games.
It gave me a new life for basketball. It really it's making this a lot of fun and something I can get better at and compete at.
Jimmer is one of 4 players on the men's Team USA 3x3 squad. Kenyon Barry, Kareem Maddox, and Dylan Travis round out the roster. They'll all be making their Olympic debuts.
We have a team that's more experienced now than we've ever had, and a talented group and guys that like each other.
Now 35 years old, Jimmer made the decision to stop playing full seasons of international basketball so he could be home with his growing family.
I have 3 little ones, and I want to make sure see them grow up and everything. And then 3x3 called and asked if I wanted to play, and my wife was like,
"What did you say?"
Yeah, she was like, honestly, for me, I want to go to the Olympics too, right? She's like, I want to go to Paris.
National Player of the Year, lottery pick, international star when you were playing overseas, and now get to wear USA on the chest. What does that mean?
A lot, right? To play for your country, to play in the Olympics with the greatest athletes in the world. It's an honor and it's a responsibility as well. So we take that responsibility serious. When you put USA on your chest in a basketball setting, everyone thinks the best and expects you to be the best.
Stuff.
Jimmer Fredette getting ready for the Olympics. Take a time out here on Onorato and Miller. When we come back, we've got Performance Industrial, Dirty Difficult, done to get to our conversation with Clem D'Orazio still as well. Back in 30 seconds.
The great thing about novices, no matter who you are, they're going to put all the detail in the world into your brand. I feel like they have been a big part of my success, making me feel comfortable. This is Harrison Butker, Super Bowl champion kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. Claim your crown.
Play to win a 2024 Chevy Camaro convertible through June 29th. Celebrate 20 years of good times at Saratoga Casino Hotel. Learn more at saratogacasino.com.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Albany House. And now, Dirty, Difficult, and Done. Sponsored by Performance Industrial.
Karen and Bill Miller, their great team at Performance Industrial, where there's never a job that's too dirty or too difficult for them to get it done. Performance Industrial, epoxy flooring. They do incredible work in cleaning industrial kitchens. Mm-hmm. And Bill and Karen and Sean Wilcoxon, who's part of the Performance Industrial fam as well, have a new restaurant and bar that we will take you inside in a couple of weeks. So be ready for
exciting.
that.
Do I get to go?
Sure, you kind of
okay.
Yeah.
I'm first. You usually say you're up first. My Dirty Difficult Done this week is it's a weird trend with Phoenix, and we sort of mentioned it. Another Suns coach done dirty by the Phoenix Suns, who have fired Frank Vogel. We talked about this when Monty got fired. Mm-hmm. It felt very undeserved. This feels maybe more undeserved, but maybe not. One season at the helm of the Phoenix Suns, and 11 days later, after they get bounced in the first round by the T-Wolves, who feel like a very up-and-coming, trendy, sexy pick, Frank Vogel's out.
The problem is Vogel was not Phoenix's first choice.
Yep.
But you're right. The decision to fire Monty Williams was so short-sighted by new owner Matt Ishbia. He just was like, hey, I'm the new owner. I want to make a significant move.
Yep.
And I don't feel like we have reached the level of success we should have after we acquired Kevin Durant and obviously already have Devin Booker. Okay, now they add Bradley Beal and Yusuf Nurkic and a sweep.
Yeah. The problem is this also. Kevin Durant is a superstar. And Bradley Beal and Devin Booker are really close to superstars. So even if you have a 1, you have 2 1As, if not more than 1-1. You know what I mean? Like, you could argue they have 2 1s.
Yeah.
Or 2 1s and a 1A.
Trying to do a lot of ones in math.
I know.
And
Sorry.
how many are there? And yeah.
They have the most superstars
Ooh. Go ahead. Finish that
in
sentence.
the NBA.
I don't know.
Who do you got?
Bradley Beal's not a superstar anymore.
No, but I said a 2 and a 1A.
Maybe he was, but
or a 1 and a 1A.
he had a terrible season. Bad postseason.
He should be better.
Couldn't make shots.
He should be better
It
than
was,
he is.
no doubt that should have worked a lot better than it did.
Even just Durant and Booker feels like it gives them what should be the most complete top 2
Yes.
in the league. Doncic and Kyrie is close.
Murray and Jokic.
Yep, it's close. But
Tatum and Brown.
It's as good as it gets. It's as good as it gets. You can't get swept. You
LeBron
can't
and
get
AD.
swept by the T-Wolves.
No.
LeBron and AD are too old. They don't. That's not a.
Yeah.
But again, you're going to give a guy 1 season, and who's coming in that's going to be better? Apparently, Mike Budenholzer is at the top of the list.
JJ Redick's going to get a job. Yeah, it's I don't know. Again, the star player just controls.
I wouldn't want
these
that
franchises.
job because clearly, yeah. But is it them? Do you think it's them, or is it Ishbia that's just like, well, that didn't work?
How did things
Very
go?
reactive.
How did things go in Milwaukee when they brought in Doc Rivers? And whose decision do you think that was when Adrian Griffin was how many games over 500? Giannis. There isn't a single superstar player who doesn't get final say on the head coach. Not one. Giannis, if Giannis wanted to keep Griffin, he would still be the head coach in Milwaukee. Now, whether Giannis walks into the owner's office and says, I want this guy out, or the owner says, we're thinking about making a move. What do you think? And that gets the rubber stamp of approval. There isn't a single coaching decision made in the NBA that is not in some way consulted with the star player. Not one. And I think the star player drives most of the decisions.
I mean, the Giannis was midseason. A little different than this one, but I think Ishbia has more of like I'm the boss. I want to throw
if
my
Kevin
weight around
Durant
type.
said, don't you dare fire Frank Vogel. Guess what? He's not getting fired. No chance. No chance. Unless Matt Ishbia is like, the way I feel about Kevin Durant, dude, you are not good enough to call the shots. And he's not. 2 NBA Finals MVPs, 2 rings with the Golden State Warriors, who had Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. Kevin Durant in Brooklyn, Kevin Durant in Phoenix, complete failed projects. Embarrassing. And he's not a winner. He is not a leader, and he's not a winner. It's just so evident by the way Brooklyn and Phoenix have gone. He is not a leader. He does not pull people with him.
Pulls them down, not up.
Yeah. Well done by Tom Brady. And I will watch all of this at some point. But well done by Tom Brady he took harder hits during this roast than he did ever in his career. And the clips that I've seen, and it's a 3-hour I need some time.
Yeah.
But good on Brady to take the hits and to give us a night of entertainment, right?
He is that guy, though.
He's become that guy
for the last 5 years
easily
of his career.
Yeah.
few years of his career.
Yeah.
He became that guy.
Yeah.
He became likable, self-deprecating, all of it. And that made him, the self-deprecating part made him likable.
Yeah.
Is just what it came down to.
Yeah. I'm with you. I know.
I like him more now than I ever have, and I hate a lot of players a lot more than I hate Tom Brady.
Yeah. That was good on him. Really good on him.
I agree.
All right, part 2 of the Jimmer conversation now, when we got a chance to visit with the Team USA 3x3er during training camp in Springfield, Mass.
Scale of 1 to 10, how different is this form of basketball than what you're, I'll say, used to playing 5-on-5?
Yeah, pretty different. I mean, I'd say probably 6 or 7.
For many Americans, this summer will be the first time they watch the Olympic sport of 3x3 basketball. For Jimmer Fredette, it's a game he has wrapped his arms around, seeing a path to Paris.
Once you get the ball in your hands, it's very similar, right? Like, you're trying to shoot, you're trying to score, you're trying to do all the things that you've always done. They give you freedom to play.
So what's different about 3x3? The list is long, but here's what will stand out. Yes, it's 3x3, not 3-on-3. Now, think back to the days of playing basketball in your driveway. This sport is played outdoors as well. The games are played to 21 with shots worth 1 and 2 points. There's a 10-minute game clock, and the pace of play is fast. 12-second shot clock and continuous play until there's a foul or the ball goes out of bounds. Speaking of the ball, that's different too.
I can't imagine there would be anything more annoying and maybe even to the degree of difficult for a shooter like you than to change the ball you are working with. How big of an adjustment was that?
Yeah, it wasn't as big as you think. You know, shooters shoot, right? But it's a women's size ball, but a men's size weight. And I feel like the weight is what really matters when you're shooting a basketball. So having the same weight, it just was a little bit smaller, but just gives a little more chance to go in. So for me, I was like, hey, this is great.
Both U.S. teams, the men's and women's, finished last year ranked 2nd in the world in 3x3. Jimmer and his teammates, Kenyon Barry, Kareem Maddox, and Dylan Travis, won gold at the Pan Am Games and silver at the FIBA World Cup. If you're wondering why the U.S. isn't sending some NBA players who didn't make the 5-on-5 Olympic team, it's not that simple to just step in.
If you don't know what you're doing out there, if one person is not in sync with everyone else, it shows, whereas these other teams have been playing for 6-7 years together.
I'm not going to put a timeline on your career, but when it's only played every 4 years, do you view this as like, this might be my only run?
Yeah, I mean, for the Olympics, yeah, this is my only opportunity, right? And I get that. I'll be 39 the next Olympics around. I just don't know if I'll be going at that point, you know, playing basketball. Really just focus on these next 3 months, and then after that, I'll have a good feeling of like, all right, you know, this is the direction that I need to go.
Exciting stuff for Jimmer. 3x3
Makes my heart happy.
In Paris. Yeah,
he's just such a good guy.
Think about the number of times he has reinvented himself, right? Like, lottery pick, didn't work out in Sacramento, bounced around Chicago and New York, and okay, that's not working. Let me go be a star.
Was a king
in China.
A king.
A little too far away from, okay, I'll go play in Greece. TBT, right? He has just embraced so many different levels of the sport to continue to play. And that speaks, I mean, look, he's being paid well when he was playing professionally, but that to me speaks to his humility. Like, hey, I want to play basketball. Right. And to me, it doesn't really matter what that looks like. I want to keep playing. It's what I'm passionate about. So if that means playing what a lot of American basketball fans say is a little wacky 3x3, whatever, I'm still going. And now I'm going to the Olympics.
Right. At the end of the day, he said he can say he's an Olympian. That is a very select few people. It's elite company. Yeah. And you have a chance to win a medal. Listen, if an Olympian is select company, a medalist, an Olympic medalist is even more select company. He has a chance to win a medal playing basketball for the United States of America. It does not get any better. Yeah. I would learn to play shuffleboard better if it was like, hey, you could go play in the Olympics. Okay, great.
The FireWolves are into the NLL Finals, as we know. Game 1 at home against Buffalo Friday, May 17th. So a little bit of time off here for the FireWolves and the Bandits, who have not yet lost a playoff game. Neither team has. Clem D'Orazio next year on Onorato and Miller.
Play to win a 2024 Chevy Camaro convertible through June 29th. Celebrate 20 years of good times at Saratoga Casino Hotel. Learn more at saratogacasino.com.
The great thing about novices, no matter who you are, they're going to put all the detail in the world into your brand. I feel like they have been a big part of my success, making me feel comfortable. This is Harrison Butker, Super Bowl champion kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. Claim your crown.
Imagine coming home and slipping into your own personal hot tub from Wellness Spas. Our team at Alpen House wants to help you relax and enjoy the advantages of owning your very own hot tub. Visit us at Clifton Park Center in our newly expanded showroom on Route 30 in Amsterdam.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpen House.
All right, I can say this without Ashley by my side as we get to do a FireWolves segment here with assistant general manager and assistant coach Clem D'Orazio in a moment. But I can say this knowing there's nobody here to hit me. 4 weeks ago, who was putting the FireWolves in the National Lacrosse League Finals? As good as they were at a 10-2 record at one point this year, 5-game slide. And it was kind of like, okay, maybe the youth of this team catching up with them a little bit. Maybe they were just saving something. I don't know. Postseason has been unbelievable. And for as much as we've talked about this offense, we're giving the defense some love here. 25 goals allowed over 3 games. Even my simple brain can figure that out to be, 8 goals a game. Pretty darn good. And there was one where they only allowed 3. Let's bring on Clem D'Orazio here on Onorato and Miller to the show, the assistant general manager, the defensive coordinator of this team as well. Clem, thanks for doing the show, man. How are you? Congrats, first of all, on reaching the finals.
Thanks, Chris. Really glad to be here, and thank you for that. You know, we're pretty excited, I think, as a group and an organization right now.
Take us inside the defense of this team here. Like I said, everybody's been caught up, and rightfully so, in 2 guys who are Rookie of the Year finalists in Alex Simmons and Ty Kurtz. But the back end of this squad has been really good when it has mattered most.
I mean, it starts from the goalie out, you know, the old adage saying that, you know, you build the team from the goalie out. I think Doug Jamieson serves that purpose quite well and has been a rock for us back there. You know, his whole career he's been in Albany and New England prior to, but this year specifically as we're kind of working through the playoffs. And then it's, you know, the 29 and 30-year-old veterans that, you know, are kind of like mid-age in the league, but are our veterans back there that have been with this group for quite some time. They've been with this coaching staff for some time, that are kind of leading the way. And then the young guys are just chipping away at it. And you know, it doesn't matter from 1 to, you know, 13, 14 on the roster. Every guy kind of has that mentality that they got to pick up the rope, and we all pull it together. It's been a lot of fun to work with these guys.
Game 1 of the NLL Finals is next Friday, so May 17th, at home against Buffalo, and we'll get into the other side of the matchup here in a moment. Game 2 right after that. Quick turnaround to be able to play Friday and Saturday. You've already done it once this year on the schedule, and then we'll worry about Game 3 because I know there's some schedule shifting that could happen there. But be honest with me here. Was it just the outside of us that thought, okay, great year. Maybe we see where this thing goes next year with a year of maturity, Dyson Williams, yada, yada, yada. Or did you see something in this room that made you think, despite the losing streak, we've got a shot at really making noise in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think the one thing I've learned from, you know, the tutelage of Clarkey is it's the hardest league to win every single week. So you kind of take it week by week, and you know, during that skid, I don't think we played bad. You know, we lost a couple 1-goal games, and I think it's almost needed in a sense that, you know, our younger guys who were getting very successful, all of us, you know, from a coaching staff down, kind of, you know, settles us down a little bit, and we refocus and continue to plug away at it. And would it have changed if we didn't lose the 5 games? I don't know, but winning the last game of the season kind of got the ball rolling again for the group. And I think, you know, the confidence started to build, and it's just week by week, you know, take your opponent on and go from there. And it started with our first matchup with Halifax. You know, we were able to check it off the list, and then on to the next matchup with San Diego, and we were able to check it off the list. So it's, you know, it's what's next.
This will be a short-sighted question, but maybe the answer is still no. Have you ever been part of a game as physical and wild as that Halifax game to open the postseason?
It's the whole playoffs have been just another level. You know, as a coach in the NLL, this is the farthest I've ever been. You know, every playoff game, it's a different level. The players just bring it to, you know, higher standards. And
so you feel it like there's a different level of intensity here.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so far, you know, each series, it's just increasing, and the series has a different dynamic to an individual one and done. You know, and I think that helps with the mentality of our group and the messaging from the coaching staff and the messaging from the players internally. It's all been kind of in line with one another, that we just got to keep bringing it every chance we get. And what's next with the next shift?
You're going to get a ticked off Buffalo team because you've already beaten them twice this year. And their trajectory second half of the season has been like on a real upward climb. You know how good this team is. They're defending champs. How do you view this matchup for your particular defensive unit?
It's a massive challenge. I mean, they have arguably one of the best offenses in the league, and you look last week, arguably one of the best offenses in the league in San Diego, and I think based on regular season, Halifax did have the best offense in the league for goals per game. There's so many weapons on that offense that we're going to scout, and we're going to do, you know, what we do internally, and just try and be prepared for it. And again, it's going to come down to the little small battles within the game, and just continuing to keep going for the next shift. And again, the best part of our group is they've had that mentality all year, and it's an excitement around the team. And I think the young guys bring a lot of that excitement too, because they got engines. They just keep going. So I know I keep saying it, but it's been a lot of fun.
It's been fun on the outside too. Neither team has lost a playoff game yet, so I guess it would apply to both Buffalo and Albany. Any concern that, like, you're feeling really good, red hot, we have to sit for a week?
No, I think it's good. You know, internally for our group, I think it's good. It gives us a reset. You know, yeah, it's great. You're rolling and everything else, and I'm sure over there they're feeling good. They're rolling, but I think it is a good reset. It's a reflection moment. It's kind of time to refocus. Gives us all more time to evaluate within our team, you know, what our opponent's doing, and try and prepare for that. And, you know, we'll practice this weekend. We'll have a team dinner, have the team together, just again to continue to build our group camaraderie as we move forward. You know, the plan is to have this group for a long time, and you know, just continue to enjoy each other's company.
What's crazy is, you know, I could say reinforcements. I guess I don't know any other way to say it. Offense and defensively, this team is going to get.
Yeah, next year. Yeah, I'm the number 1 overall draft pick, and Dyson Williams coming in. You know, he's a phenomenal player. I've seen him play since he was like 14, 15 years old, and he's been a dominant force everywhere he's played. Will Johansson is another piece,
right,
on the back end, you know, 7th overall 2 years ago, and we lost him with that injury. Like, I'm excited to work with Will. You know, I've scouted him a little bit prior to us drafting him, and he's a great lacrosse player. So, you know, it's just adding layers to this and keeping this young group together for as long as possible. I think we can have a lot of success together.
Yeah. Poor Will, he's had to wear a suit to every single one of these games this year, but I hear he might have a new suit thanks to my guy, Mr. Formalware and Justin Willock. So I can't wait to see that. All right. How many degrees are on the wall behind you there, by the way?
It's just a couple. There's some diplomas and stuff.
Just a couple. Yeah. I have one. It's in the basement somewhere, I think.
Yeah.
Look, we've talked about how this team has gone from 3-15 or whatever it was last year to the 3 seed, now 3 playoff wins in a best of 3. What would it say about the way this team, and you're part of it, has been constructed to potentially win a title this year?
I think, it's a lot about puzzle pieces and following the leadership from Clarkey when this team's getting built and how the team is directed on a game-to-game, practice-to-practice basis. We have a lot of good pieces that fit together with each other. And that was the plan as we were kind of doing this, a big rebuild, kind of blew it up there a little while ago. And as we started picking pieces and looking at pieces and scouting, it was all about making sure it fit with one another. That it happened a lot faster than expected, 100%, which is kind of awesome. But I think that's a big part of it. And you look at our offensive group with all these young guys and, you think, oh, it's going to take a while. And so part of the offense did take a while, but part of it just kind of clicked right away. And it's a lot of selfless guys up there. And I think that's the number one thing for an offensive group. And you look at the defensive side, and again, it starts with Doug Jamieson and net, but they all kind of work with each other, off each other. And it is a very similar mentality. I got to credit a lot to Colton Watkinson this year and his leadership of just kind of keeping that defensive group in line with each other. And again, those leaders like Nick Chikowski and even bringing in Anthony Jokum with that championship pedigree and, a strong defensive knowledge. He has a coaching background. These are the guys that have kind of continued to propel this forward. And I think that's the big reason why we've had success. And ultimately it's their will to win. They're dogs.
Oh, I'm so glad you used that word. It was literally, it's built into my next question here. We talked with John Wagner last week and had some fun with him. Who is the dog of this defense? Who, if you're getting into a bar fight, who do you want on your side?
All of them. I want all 11 right there, 12, 13, even practice roster guys, all of them right there, and I think that's, again, part of it is, one guy's maybe having a tougher game. Another guy is helping him out. Another guy's stepping up for him. And, one game it's John Wagner getting 13 loose balls. Next time it's, can't remember who we gave it out to, but like Nishimura's getting 7 and Watkinson's getting 10 and this guy's getting, everyone's kind of just got that same mentality that I think allows us to play a little bit more free together.
All right. Who's got more bark than bite?
More bark than bite.
Who yaps more than he might hit you?
I don't know. Leo Sturlis has a lot of yap. Like, he'll still hit you. So I don't want to say he won't hit you, but he's got a lot of yap. Like, he doesn't stop. So I'll go for Leo.
If you can steal one guy from the offense to play full-time defense for you, who would you want?
Oh, these guys are going to kill me if I say someone. I mean, they all have their own attributes, and every single guy has been stuck back there. And it's not like we're holding our chair going, oh no, he's stuck on defense. Every single guy can do it. I just remember in San Diego, Simmons got stuck back there. Some guy set a down pick and he jumped out and clamped a guy like he looked like he'd been playing defense in the league for a couple of years. But again, a bunch of them, the first's been stuck there. Walker's been stuck there. Palace, like Longbow, Granite, like they've all been stuck back there. And, it's part of our system of where they go and where they fit in it. And they get it. And again, that's going back to leadership with Clarkey. He's, we've defined some of that roles for those O guys if they get stuck on defense and what it looks like for them. But yeah, I'm not going to pick one person just because they've all done a very good job this year.
It's like the guy who has no business scoring a goal, burying one. He'll never let you forget it, and he'll probably be petitioning to play offense full time. These guys get one shot at it, right? They're going to be the star for that one moment, and probably tell you that you need them on there. But yeah,
Yeah, no, every time a D guy scores, they want to be on the power play the next game. That's for sure.
That's all good. All right, man. I can't wait. Enjoy the time off here that you get to really kind of prepare for Buffalo. I know you said it'd be a big challenge. You look at the numbers, it will be. But their defense, by the way, we won't sleep on them either. 21 goals allowed by Buffalo in the 3 wins. They've had 25 by you guys. So this, I don't know. I mean, we're expecting fireworks, but it'd be fun to get a couple of 8-7s in this finals. That wouldn't be so bad to see the goalies stand on their heads a little bit or the defense shine. So enjoy the week off, man. Clem, thanks for doing the show, dude. We'll catch up soon.
Thanks, Chris. See you soon.
I'm Jeff Ukelek. I'm owner of Bev's, and we're a beverage center in upstate New York. You're just going to have that wow component when you come in, like, wow, look at this place. It's bright, it's clean, it has everything that I need. Consumer is king. Be able to provide them a friendly environment and a place to shop, no matter where they are, whether they're down here in Saratoga or whether they're up in Queensbury. You're always going to get the same experience when you shop at Bev's. At the end of the day, if you walk in these stores, you're going to see a lot of people that have a lot of pride.
It's always a good time there. Doesn't matter where. It's always a good time there. Doesn't matter.
Play to win a 2024 Chevy Camaro convertible through June 29th. Celebrate 20 years of good times at Saratoga Casino Hotel.
It's always a good time.
Learn more at SaratogaCasino.com.
Have to try. It's always a good time.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alphen House.
All right, so the FireWolves on to the NLL Finals. Again, home game May 17th against Buffalo.
Day after your birthday.
Final couple of minutes here on the show. This is a fun one that, come on, Roger Goodell. Come on, Roger Goodell.
Leave it alone.
2 college teammates, Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, LSU, now in the NFL, and they have placed a bet that was not supposed to be made public, but it came out during a podcast.
Neighbors messed that one up.
So they had bet each other 10 grand that one would now, if neither one of them wins Offensive Rookie of the Year, I guess nobody loses or gains money. But this is fun. Let it happen.
I agree.
It happens on the golf course.
Right.
And just because you don't know about it, like now it's so, come on.
This is good for your sport. This conversation, the whole thing is good for your sport.
They make the receipts public on social media when a rookie has to buy a dinner for $10,000.
Which is basically like hazing, which is probably illegal.
Nobody has a problem with that. This is fun between 2 friends.
Right. So maybe they should say, if
It won't
you
happen.
buy one, you have to buy me a $10,000 dinner. Could you get out of it that way?
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Consider it a gift, right? Like quarterbacks get their offensive linemen
If you win,
gifts all the time.
I'll give you a $10,000 gift. If I win, you give me a $10,000 gift.
Yeah. Knicks and Rangers both getting through to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yes.
Yeah, they're up 2-0 as we do the show live on a Thursday, so we could have more magic.
No sweeps, but
at the Garden. No sweeps. Okay. Well, enjoy the hoops. Enjoy the hockey. Thanks for hanging out here on Onorato and Miller. Enjoy the weekend, everybody. We'll see you next Wednesday night.